After class, I will send you, madam. Right. So what do you mean by manual testing, madam? Silly question. Already you know manual testing, but I am asking, what do you mean by manual testing?
Testing means we are checking whether the application is according to the requirement
Hmm.
as per the client's requirement by manually doing it
Yes.
rather than using any tools.
Yes, everything we will do manually without any tool support. Everything we will do manually. Like there are two ways of testing. One is manual testing, other one is automation testing. Manual testing is one of the type of testing in which all the phases of software testing life cycle. Software testing life cycle contains 6 phases like test planning, test development, test execution, result analysis, bug tracking, and reporting are accomplished successfully with our efforts, without any tool support. Everything we will do manually with our efforts, with human efforts we are doing. So that's why that is called manual testing. Already manual testing existed in the market. Why automation came into market? Already manual testing existed in the market. Why automation came into market? That means in manual testing we have some drawbacks. What are the main drawbacks in manual testing? Guess it, madam. It is simple. Manual testing drawbacks. More number of people required
Yeah.
and time consuming. Less accuracy, tiredness. We cannot repeat the task again and again. Simultaneous actions not possible. It is not a consistent process. It is a bore process. Human errors. And there is nothing to learn new things. There is nothing to learn new things. These are the manual testing drawbacks. So wherever you go, still 80 to 90% of the companies still they are depending upon manual process. Wherever you go, not only in Hyderabad, wherever you go. So if it is India, only 80% of people they are depending upon manual process. If it is outside India, outside countries, all companies they are using 90% of the companies still they are depending upon manual process. In manual testing we have many drawbacks, but why most of the people nowadays they are choosing still manual testing? That means first of all we should know what is automation testing. First of all we should know what is automation testing. Automation also one of the type of testing in which all the drawbacks in manual testing are addressed properly, and it will give speed and accuracy to the existing testing process. It will give speed and accuracy to the already existing testing process. Automation also one of the type of testing in which all the drawbacks in manual testing are addressed properly and provide speed and accuracy to the existing testing process. Okay. So why most of the people still they are depending upon manual process? That means in automation we have some drawbacks. In automation also we have some drawbacks. What are the main drawbacks in automation? First point, professionals required. First point, professionals required. So if it is manual testing, we can give training within 1 week and we can take into project, or within 1 day we can give the training and we can take into project. Manual testing is very easy. So there is nothing to learn anything. Without knowing anything directly, we can learn manual testing. So, but if it is automation, compulsory technical knowledge people required, some tool knowledge, some scripting knowledge required. So professionals required. Second point, tools are very expensive. Whenever you are comparing with manual testing, tools are very expensive. And the third drawback, very important drawback, that is we can't automate all the areas using tools also. We can't automate all the areas using tools also. This is the main drawback. That is the reason 80 to 90% of people still they are depending upon manual process. That is the main reason. Okay. But here one note you should remember. Automation is not a replacement of manual testing. This is the continuation part of manual testing. Manual testing is nothing but it is a basic process. Manual testing is nothing but it is a basic process. Automation is nothing but it is an advanced process. Automation is nothing but it is a advanced process. So manual testing is nothing but it is a basic process. Automation is nothing but it is an advanced process. If it is any project compulsory, we should do manually. After application getting stability, we can implement automation testing. So if it is any project compulsory, we should do manually. After getting application stability, we can implement automation testing. So if it is any project compulsory, we should do manually. After whenever you are facing the interview, also that time they may ask you like one question, madam, you are saying manual is a basic process, automation is an advanced process. When can you implement automation testing? So whenever the application is stable condition, then only we can implement automation testing. So this is manual and automation. So right, automation tool introduction. Automation tool introduction. Automation tool. Yeah, automation tool is nothing but it is an assistant of test engineer. Yeah, automation tool is nothing but it is an assistant of test engineer. If you want to work with any automation tool or any your assistant, compulsory you should know 5 basic things. If you want to work with any automation tool, if it is QTP or Selenium, whatever it is, if you want to work with any automation tool, you should know 5 basic things. So for example, I have an assistant, he's from Orissa. I know Telugu, he don't know Telugu. I know Hindi, he don't know Hindi. I know English, he don't know English. He knows only Oriya. First of all, I should learn Oriya. Why? Because without giving the instructions and information, he will not do. Simply he will sit. So he will not do anything. Compulsory, I should give some information and instruction. Then only he will do work. So first of all, if you want to work with your assistant or any automation tool, first of all, we should know 5 basic things. First point, how to give the instructions. Second point, how to give the information. How to use its recording facility. How to using recording facility. How to use its playback facility. How to analyze the result. How to analyze the results. If you know these 5 things, you can work with any automation tool or any your particular personal assistant. First of all, we should give the instructions and information. And first of all, if it is automation tool, main facility is recording facility. How to use its recording facility. How to use its playback facility. If you know these things, you can work with any automation tool. All right. So type of tools in the market. First one is functional tools. Functional tools means compulsory we need to perform some actions on the functionality, then only we can say that functionality is properly working or not. The type of tools is called functional tools. So in functional tools we have mainly, first one is WinRunner. First one is WinRunner. So this is out of date. None of the people not using. This is not very user friendly. None of the people not using right now. After that they made RFT, Rational Functional Tool. This is also functional tool. So IBM tool, none of the companies not using. After that they may introduce QTP. So now Selenium. First of all, we should know what are the main differences between QTP and Selenium. Why most of the people still they are depending upon QTP. What are the main differences between QTP and Selenium? So QTP and Selenium. QTP introduced by Mercury people in 1994. Selenium introduced by Jason Huggins in 2004. Using QTP, we can work with normal window-based applications as well as web applications. Selenium only for web applications. This is one drawback. In QTP, we have main recording and playback facility, RPB. In Selenium, mainly WebDriver we don't have. WebDriver. I'm mentioning here WebDriver. In WebDriver we don't have. QTP is a commercial tool. If you want QTP license, we need to pay nearly 3 to 5 lakhs rupees based on the license type. Selenium is a open source tool. If you have internet connection, you can download it, we can use. In QTP Max, we can use VB scripting, we can use other scripting also. But here we can use multi-scripting languages like Java, Perl, Python, C Sharp, Ruby. So we can use any scripting language, Java, Perl, Python, C Sharp or Ruby, any scripting language. So Selenium using QTP, here QTP we can use only VB scripting language, but if it is Selenium we can use multi-scripting languages like Java, Perl, Python, C Sharp, Ruby. And QTP we can work with IE browser very comfortably, but here we can work with multi-browsers. Very comfortably we can work with multi-browsers. These are the main differences between QTP and Selenium. Actually, QTP introduced by 1994 to 2012, one tool in the market, that is the QTP history. 1994 to 2012, 18 years one commercial tool settled in the market, that is QTP history. Sorry, 2012. Selenium introduced 2004, but it came into market 2012. 2012 to right now, most demandable tool in the world, that is Selenium. Most demandable tool in the world, that is Selenium. Actually introduced in 2004, but it came to market after 8 years travel. It came to market, that is 2012 it came into market. So after 8 years it came into market. So this is the history of QTP and Selenium. So Selenium is an open source tool. So compulsory we have Selenium life compulsory, it will be nearly 20 years. Why? Because if it is commercial tool, that is settled in the market 18 years. If it is open source tool, compulsory it should be minimum 20 years. Why? Because so if they are introduced any tool, there should be commercial tool, and if you want to use that tool, they need to pay some amount. Then only we can use any other tools. But Selenium already very comfortable. Using Selenium, we can perform unlimited testing. Selenium is very user friendly. So if you want to learn QTP, you should know some SQL, Unix, something we should know. But if you want to learn Selenium, just we should know some basics of Java. Only basics of Java. So if you know basics of Java, simply comfortably we can learn the Selenium. Right. Selenium introduction. Selenium introduction. Selenium. What is Selenium? Selenium. Selenium is nothing but it is a software. It is a software which contains some set of programs. Selenium having 4 components. One is Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver, Selenium Grid. Selenium having 4 components: Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver, and Selenium Grid. Selenium having 4 components: Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver, and Selenium Grid. Right. What is Selenium IDE? We will discuss. IDE means Integrated Development Environment. What is Selenium IDE? Selenium IDE. IDE means Integrated Development Environment. Integrated Development environment. What is Selenium IDE? Selenium IDE is nothing but it is a software. Same definition, Selenium definition only. Selenium IDE is nothing but it is a software which contains some set of programs. This set of programs we need to configure into one user interface. Why? Because this is the Selenium IDE. It is a the Selenium IDE is nothing but it is a program. So directly we can't interact with these programs. Why? Because these are the jars. So we can't interact with these programs. We need one user interface. In the place of user interface, we are using IDE only. No need to install somewhere. Why? Because Selenium IDE is nothing but it is a software which contains some set of programs. So this set of programs we need to configure into or install into one user interface. In the place of user interface, we are using IDE only. No need to install somewhere. So using Selenium IDE, we can perform very limited testing, and it's work with only Firefox browser. That's the reason none of the companies not encouraging Selenium IDE nowadays, not using Selenium IDE. So it is deprecated. Selenium IDE is deprecated. So still I will teach you Selenium IDE, everything, all components I will teach you. But what is Selenium IDE? It's simple. Roughly we are discussing now. So using Selenium IDE, we can perform very limited testing, and using Selenium IDE, we can work with only Firefox browser only. So that's the reason none of the companies not using Selenium IDE nowadays. It is deprecated. After that, they made Selenium RC. RC means remote control. What is Selenium RC? Selenium RC is nothing but it is a software which contains some set of programs. This set of programs we need to configure into one user interface. In the place of user interface, we are using Eclipse. Eclipse is nothing but it is a powerful editor to write the Java programs. So Selenium RC is nothing but it is a software which contains some set of programs, same definition. So if you want to interact with these programs, we need one user interface. In the place of user interface, we are using Eclipse. What is Eclipse? Eclipse is nothing but it is a powerful editor to write the Java programs. Even Java developers also, they will use only Eclipse. So, but whenever you
So
want
instead of IDE, excuse me, Akhil, instead of IDE, we are going for Eclipse.
Yes, madam.
Okay.
In the place of IDE is a user interface. Here, Eclipse also user interface.
Okay. So as IDE is limited to only Firefox, we are going for Eclipse.
Yes, so using Selenium, Eclipse, it is a powerful editor. So Selenium RC. What is Selenium RC? It is a software which contains some set of programs. So this set of programs we need to configure into one user interface. In the place of user interface, we are using Eclipse. But whenever you want to work with Selenium RC, we need to start the server manually. We need to stop the server manually. Everything we need to do manually only. Every time we need to start the server manually, we need to stop the server manually. That means we can perform very limited testing. Using Selenium RC also we can perform very limited testing. Selenium IDE and Selenium RC both are deprecated. Why? Because using Selenium RC also we can perform very limited testing. That is the reason none of the people not using Selenium RC and Selenium IDE nowadays. Both are deprecated. After that, they made one component, that is Selenium WebDriver. What is Selenium WebDriver? Selenium WebDriver is nothing but same definition. It is a software which contains some set of programs. This set of programs we need to configure into one user interface. In the place of user interface, we are using Eclipse only. Sir, both setups same, huh? Right, both setups same, but programs different. That is Selenium RC program. These are the Selenium WebDriver programs. Remaining setup is same. Selenium WebDriver is nothing but it is a software which contains some set of programs. This set of programs we need to configure into one user interface. In the place of user interface, we are using Eclipse. Eclipse is nothing but it is a powerful editor to write the Java programs. So what are the main differences between Selenium RC and Selenium WebDriver? Yes, whenever comparing with the Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver having some powerful set of programs. Using Selenium WebDriver, we can perform unlimited testing. Selenium WebDriver is very, very user friendly. So that's the reason most of the people, most of the companies nowadays choosing, they are encouraging only Selenium WebDriver. Selenium WebDriver is nothing but Selenium. Selenium is nothing but Selenium WebDriver. We will keep main focus only on Selenium WebDriver. We will keep main focus only on Selenium WebDriver. Whenever you are comparing with Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver are having some powerful set of programs. Using Selenium WebDriver, we can perform unlimited testing. There is no start the server, no stop the server. So using Selenium WebDriver, unlimited testing we can perform. That's the reason most of the people, most of the companies nowadays they are choosing, they are encouraging only Selenium WebDriver only. I will teach
What
you.
is server? Which server? Which server we are connected?
So here we have number of servers, madam. So different servers will be there. In RC, we have different servers, like admin server, like, or HR server. So we have different servers. So each and every time we need to start the server, we need to stop the server. That means we need to keep the record mode, we need to stop the record mode. Like if it is QTP, without keeping the record mode, it will not record. Compulsory, we need to keep the record mode. Then only it will record and it will store the object repository. So here also each and every time we should keep the record mode. If it is only one button, we can simply we can record it. But if it is here, we need to connect with the server. If you want to connect with the server, compulsory we should give username and password. And after ending the recording mode, compulsory we need to stop the server. And that means here also we can perform very limited testing in Selenium RC. But Selenium WebDriver, there is no limitations. Unlimited testing we can perform. That's the reason most of the people they are choosing, they are encouraging only Selenium WebDriver. Lastly, they introduced one more component, that is Selenium Grid. Selenium Grid. What is Selenium Grid? Selenium Grid is nothing but it is a software which contains some set of programs, Using these programs, we can run the test on parallelly multiple missions. What is the use? We can increase the performance of the execution. What is Selenium Grid? Selenium Grid is nothing but it is a software which contains some set of programs. So using these programs, we can run the test. If it is same test or multiple tests, we can run in single system or multiple systems. So what is the main use? We can increase the performance of the execution. Some of the companies, very less companies, they are using Selenium Grid. These are the Selenium components, but we will keep main focus only on Selenium WebDriver, madam. Now ask me any doubt. So if you want to learn Selenium, first of all, we should know some Java basics. You know any Java basics, madam? Madam, are you there?
Come back. I'm there. I'm there. Okay, can you please come back again? The last one. I couldn't
Selenium
get.
Grid. Selenium Grid is nothing but it is a software which contains some set of programs. Using these programs, we can run the test parallelly on multiple machines. If it is single test, we can run the multiple systems. If it is multiple programs, we can run in single systems. So that means we can increase the performance of the execution. Like just like we can use as a performance testing. Just like we can Selenium Grid sometimes we can use as a performance testing also. Just like if it is all the programs we can run in single system or all the programs we can run in only multiple systems. So what is the main use? We can increase the performance of the execution. Very
The same test we can run in all
multiple
simultaneously we can run
multiple systems.
many
Many machines. So we can find out the performance of the execution. In order to find out the performance
So
of
mostly Selenium Grid will be used for performance rather than
low run.
functional use.
Right. So instead of low runner or JMeter, sometimes we will use as a Selenium. Very less companies, very less companies they are using Selenium Grid. So actually we will keep main focus only
Mostly
on
we use Selenium WebDriver
WebDriver.
only.
Yes, I will teach you all components, but still Selenium IDE is waste. Already I told you. So compulsory I should show the why it is waste. So I will show the practically also. So why it is. So using Selenium IDE, we can perform very limited testing. So how we can perform very limited testing? How we can perform using Selenium WebDriver unlimited testing? I will show you with practicals also. This is a rough introduction. So after, if you want to learn Selenium, first of all, we should know some Java concepts. So, you know Java, madam? Anything about Java?
Yeah, slightly I got an idea. That's it.
Okay.
Because I am from IT background.
Hmm.
Very slightly I got an
Right.
idea.
So if you want to learn Java, if you want to learn Selenium, first of all, we should know Java. So in Java, first concept, basic concept, primitive data types. Basic concept
Hmm.
in Java, basic concept, primitive data types.
Okay.
Each and every session record of just it is recording, madam. So after class, I will send you once again. After 20 years, also you can play back it, madam. Primitive data types. In Java, we have 8 primitive data types, madam. One is byte, short, into, long, float, double, boolean, char. In Java, we have 8 primitive data types: byte, short, into, long, float, double, boolean, char. So first 4 data types are used for store the integer numeric values. First 4 data types are used for store the integer values like number of hands, number of legs, number of countries, number of fans, number of systems, number of lights, number of buses, number of states, number of districts, number of fingers, number of legs, number of eyes, number of nose, number of ears, number of fingers. So if you want to store any number, that time we will use primitive data types, first 4 data types. So why we need these 4 data types? Why we need 4? Only one is more than enough now. So byte is 8 bit, short is 16 bit, int is 32 bit, and the long is 64 bit. If you want to store any
64.
number, that time we will use these 4 data types. What is byte? This range like minus 2 power of 7 to 2 power of 7 minus 1. In between values we can store in byte, like minus 128 to plus 127. In between values we can store in byte.
Right.
Okay, right. Short, this range like minus 2 power of 15 to 2 power of 15 minus 1. In between values we can store in byte. Short 32 bit, int is 32 bit. This range minus 2 power of 31 to 2 power of 31 minus 1. 64 bit, minus 2 power of 63 to 2 power of 63 minus 1. Float and double are used for store the decimal values. Float and double are used for the decimal values. Float is 32 bit, double is 64 bit. Decimal values 0.003, 5.7, 5.9, 6.2, something. If you want to store any decimal values, that time we will use this float and double. Boolean is used for store the true or false. If you want to store the true or false, we will use Boolean. Char is used for store the single character. If you want to store the single character, that time we will use char. Char is used for store the single character. Here one note. String is not a data type in Java. String is not a String is not a data type in Java. It is a predefined function in Java.
Is it a function or a class?
It is a predefined function or class, we can say. String class and object class. We can say function or class. Anything we can say. So sometimes we can say function, sometimes we can say class. String is a class or function. String is not a data type in Java. It is a predefined class in Java or predefined function in Java. It is a predefined function
No,
in Java,
I got
predefined
it.
class in.
I got it. Like, class implies that it's a combination of data types and function. No,
Mm, what? Come again?
class is nothing but a encapsulation of, we say, like data types and the functions on it.
Yes,
Is it correct?
functions. So, for example, string class, it is a string class contains some predefined functions. So string class having some predefined functions like length, length, substring, index of, equals, upper to lower, lower to upper, right remove, left remove. These are the functions. String class having
Yes. These
predefined
are the
functions.
functions which are included in the string class. Correct?
String class. String class having some
Yeah.
predefined functions. So that time we can say it is also function. Sometimes we can say class also. That is the note you should remember. This is introduction class, madam. This is the introduction class. Stop the record mode.